Welcome to the Renaissance Woodworker, and this is what's going into my shop for September 14th, 2016. I'm a little early this week because I'm heading off to Cincinnati for Woodworking in America. And as I've talked about it before, I'm teaching 3 classes this year. One of them is on sawing. So I'm packing up my saws. I've got this great carrying case that Ron Bonce sent me from Bonce Saw Works. And I've got 4 saws in here, including 2 full-size saws. I've got a dovetail saw, tenon saw, and I've actually got room for files and wax and all kinds of cool stuff. This is a very cool little dealy whacker carrier thing, you know, so anywhere you want to carry your saws, that's pretty cool to have. I've also got my tool tote here. It's filled with some frame saws, a whole bunch of back saws, and I'm also bringing along this full-size rip saw. This is a Bonce saw. Ron sent this for me to test and play around with, and I'm really excited to take this to show and show it off to a few people. I'm also going to be demonstrating rip cuts with this saw in class. Now, I'm a little guilty about this because it's a total tease. Ron is not producing this saw. This is a total prototype, but I'm hopeful the fact that there is a prototype that maybe someday we're going to have a modern manufacturer who is making full-size hand saws. These are incredibly expensive to produce for a modern manufacturer, and that's why you just don't find anybody doing it. The companies that are making full-size hand saws, and again, full size, we're talking 26, 28 inches long. We're not talking about the 20-inch panel saws that you can find at Lee Nielsen and some of the other makers. This is a full-size baby. The guys that are making them now, generally they don't have a taper ground back because finding somebody who can do that taper grinding is very difficult. It's just not something you find in the marketplace anymore. And of course, because of that, it's all custom work and very, very expensive. So a modern maker making a saw like this, you're probably looking at $600, $800 for a saw. So that's just why you're not finding them. But I'm hoping just the fact that we have a prototype now means that maybe in a year, maybe 2 years, we might finally be able to see some modern makers putting out these full-size hand saws. Until then, there are plenty of vintage 26, 28-inch saws on the market. Just dig around on eBay a little bit, you can find them. I'm a big fan of Hyperkit and Toolworks, that's Josh Clark's company. I've used Jim Bodie tools for full-size hand saws before, and lately I've become really, I really like Kennebec saws. It's run by Niles Kresh, and I admit he's a Hand Tool School member, and he's been restoring saws and selling them to Hand Tool School students for a couple of months now, and people are just raving about it. So there's another source on the market. Matt Cianci is also restoring saws. So there are places you can get them, but I hear from people all the time wanting to buy a new saw. They see the quality of, you know, bad axe saws and things like that and think, wouldn't it be cool to have something like that in a full-size 26-inch hand saw? Now I'm also bringing my joiner plane with me, because in my sawing class, I'm going to be talking about how accurate sawing can make everything downstream much, much easier. And one of the events in the Hand Tool Olympics this year is called the biathlon, and you're going to rip a board and then joint the board. You're not allowed to use squares, anything like that, and your final score is based upon the total time it took you to rip a 24-inch board and then joint it, and then they use playing cards to figure out if you get into deductions for deviation from square. Well, the philosophy is if you're sawing accurately, square and plumb, you can joint a board with 2 or 3 passes and be done in seconds. So I'm bringing my joiner plane along to demonstrate that in my class, which brings up the point that anybody who's going to Woodworking in America and thinking about competing in the Hand Tool Olympics, and if you can come find me Friday, Saturday, or whatever, if you want any tips or a little bit of coaching before you go into the event, I'm all about that. I'd love to help you out. And again, speaking of Woodworking in America, I am partnering with Mark Harrell for my sawing class, and he's providing me with his sash saw. He's calling it the bayonet. I'm going to give away that bayonet saw, and I have one of his stilettos. Mark sent me a couple of these a while ago to test, and since I've got a couple of them, I'm going to give away the other one. This is a thin plate stiletto. This is a 12-inch long plate dovetail saw. It is an absolute thing of beauty. So the bayonet and the stiletto will both be given away. But here's the catch. They're going to be given away to anybody who is an active Hand Tool School apprentice. So all the current apprentices in the program right now, and anybody who joins apprenticeship between September 16th, that's this Friday, and the last Friday of the month, September 30th, will be eligible as well. They'll put your names in a hat and draw out, and there will be a saw going to 2 different winners. So yeah, call it a blatant marketing ploy, but if nothing else, you can join Apprenticeship for 30 bucks a month, and hey, you can always cancel, and if you win a saw, you paid 30 bucks for one of these incredible saws. Do the math, that's a pretty good deal. So last week, you might remember I was gearing up to do some veneer work, and I mentioned that I had purchased some veneer through eBay. Well, it has arrived, and I wanted to show you what I got. Basically, enough black dyed poplar to make a whole mess of banding. This is a 10-foot long piece of 1/16 inch thick veneer that's 8 inches wide, and it is black dyed poplar, and it's through and through dyed. It's absolutely beautiful. Oops, and it's coily and very difficult to deal with. Underneath it, I've got Avedire, which is a good substitute for satinwood. Anagre will work as well. Avedire tends to have a little bit more figure, and this, if you look, you can see there's quite a bit of figure in this. So it's beautiful in its own right, but it's also going to make that really great yellow color. So I do have some solid satinwood, and I will continue to pursue kind of sawing my own shop sawn veneers, but it's nice to have another bit of 16th inch thick veneer like this. And in case you don't realize, 16th inch thick veneer, that's a big deal. It's really hard to get thick veneer like that. I got these veneers from JSO Wood Products from their eBay store. And I just went to eBay and started searching for specific species of veneer. I was looking for black dyed Castello, Tupelo, or Poplar, and of course they came up. I was also looking for satinwood, and I found this Avedire as well. So shipping was super fast. They communicated great. I had it within a couple of days, and I'm incredibly happy with it. They also sent me this little sample packet, some of their other veneers, so I would definitely be purchasing from them in the future. Then I also bought some holly, and it just showed up today. So I figured everybody likes unboxing videos, right? So let's unbox it. This is from Domex Hardwoods. This is holly veneer, and if I remember right, it is also 16th inch thick. This is nice. It's wrapped up in a shrink wrap thing with the peanuts, and written right on top it says "undo with great caution," which tells me it's coiled very, very tightly. I just got to get it out of here without spilling peanuts everywhere. Now these guys as well, one of the things that I always judge the quality of an eBay seller is just by how communicative they are during the transaction process. Super easy to check out, nice store with a lot of different stuff in it. And just like JSO, I got a communication from them almost immediately saying, we got your order, it's being processed, here's when you can expect it to be shipped out. This is going to be interesting to undo. Let's see if I can't do this without it springing open and killing me. I suppose I could cut it, but I don't want to risk slicing the veneer, perforating it or anything like that. So these, if I remember right, are, I'm going to get my tape measure here. They're 10.5 inches wide. I think they're 16th. Yeah, they're a full 16th thick. And I want to say it's like 111 inches long. And I got multiple pieces of it. Beautiful white color. Holly is an interesting species in that the minute it is felled, it will start turning gray on you. You've got to fell it in the winter when there's no sap rising, because the sap will actually quickly cause it to mineral streak on you. And if you fell the tree and you don't saw it into boards and start drying it right away, it loses that stark white color. This is gorgeous. This is a matched set, all from the same log. And they've gone and taped the ends in sequential order. So I'm not going to mix them up here, but this is the full log. Really beautiful white color. Absolutely thrilled with this stuff. Again, this comes from Domex Hardwoods. They're domexhardwoods.com. That's D-O-M-E-X hardwoods.com. I feel like I'm giving up my favorite fishing hole here for uncovering the source, but they had quite a bit of this holly. And I certainly am not going to need any holly anytime soon, so I might as well share the love, right? So there we go. I think I'm set between the black poplar and the avadire and all this holly. I'm going to be able to make all kinds of cool bandings for a long time to come. So that's the update on my banding projects. No actual woodworking yet, but I'm hoping to get into it when I get back from Woodworking in America. So I hope to see you there. If not, pay attention to my social media channels on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, because I'll certainly be posting updates from the show, pictures, video, all that fun stuff, anything in the marketplace, and you can check it all out there. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.